All right, we are live. I'm coming to you live from Denver, Colorado. You'll notice the scenery is different here. I'm actually outside. It's pretty nice out here. I have my laptop, so it's a little more difficult to hold this, but I can see the mountains from here. So I hope people can hear me, and you can actually see a few mountains over there. Funny thing is, right when it hit 9:59, Georgie, who's sitting right next to me, started barking. So we have that going for us. There's no one out here. We're sort of like kind of away from things. We're not like in the city proper. We're actually in Parker. So hopefully she won't bark. Fingers crossed on that. And today, of course, is the Q&A session. So we're going to be answering some questions. I'm going to pull up the chat here. And today we're going to run it pretty tight. So I think I'm going to need to end at 11 because I got some other stuff to do. So let me look at the chat here. We have J&K, we have Furhan Charles, and Anil. What's up? Good to have you all on. And I think I had, interestingly, I had a number of questions come in via email. Several people just hit me up on the contact form on my site, which is slightly unusual, but I'm going to answer some of those questions here. And here's a very specific one. So Zubar sent this in. You've seen a lot of videos about the keyword golden ratio, and you have a question that you couldn't find an answer for. So an example is best shaver for men with a bald head. This is a good keyword golden ratio and it suits the requirement, but you found another that is best shaver for men with coarse hair. Now both keywords target a common keyword about a shaver for men, and the products may be the same. In that case, what do you suggest? Well, here's how I would do it. I would publish two different articles because you have to think about the visitor and the searcher. So if you think about the searcher, those are two distinct different types of like people searching for stuff. So you may think you could include them together, and you can, right? There's no issue with it. But if it was me personally, I would probably keep them separate because it's a different type of user, a different type of searcher. So eat lunch and fishing is here. Tao is on. Creative diversity from Kenya. Walter, what's up? Good to have you on. So that is the answer to that question. And feel free to add other questions in the chat here. I'm sure what happens is they start coming in hard. So you'll notice as people are joining up, I am in a different location. I'm going to try and move around so that you can see the scenery a little bit better. But of course, I don't want to go outside the range of the Wi-Fi or drop my laptop on these stones here. But somewhere we can get to the mountains. They're back there, trust me. So it's pretty cool. The mountains here in Denver are much farther away than in Bozeman. But you'll notice there's no snow here. It's going to be like 60 degrees. And in Bozeman, there's like a foot of snow or more. And it's chilly. So it's a nice change of scenery. Georgie and I drove all day yesterday, like 12 hours on the road. So that was our first big road trip. She did good. She did well. Everything's fine. All right. I see John is on too. So another question came in from Palestine. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. So let's see, he has a site that's 3 months old. You have 5 money keywords and there's 18 posts total. You can't overcome the keyword position, so you need help from me. Please help me. Okay, so quick note. If you do send questions, just as a matter of course, either if you're sending it to me or if you're sending it to like anyone else, it's pretty good not to sound needy. So when you put in stuff like please help me, it comes off a little weird. So just, note that for future questions coming in, or actually that holds true for like dating advice too. You don't want to seem desperate. It's not a good thing to put off. But so your site's 3 months old, just be patient, publish more content, get links. 3 months is nothing. So just stick with it and you should be fine. Then we have Hamdi. what's up? Good to have you on. You're a college student. You're about to graduate and make your own agency. You're about to go with affiliate marketing business model, Amazon sites to be specific. Where should you start? Tips. Okay. I would I would start small and try and figure out how to do stuff yourself before. And in my head, like when someone says agency, it makes me think of, a service business model where you have either contractors or employees working for you. But I would say you need to figure out how to do this stuff on your own, yourself, in a successful way before you scale it out and have a team. My interpretation of an agency may be wrong, but my thought is if you're doing services and you don't have a team working for you, then you're just a freelancer. But I could be wrong because I've never had an agency or anything like that. But overall, you should figure out how to do stuff on your own yourself before you bring other people in. Because if you start scaling it and you don't have your systems tight, you're just going to scale an inefficient, ineffective process, and you'll just have a mess on your hands. It'll explode. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And then the other part is just be patient. If you're a college student and you're of the like the average college age, you have plenty of time. I'm 38 and I didn't get started with marketing and stuff until like 4 years ago. I had no, actually, I hardly have a clue what I'm doing right now. And Eating Lunch says, you lived in Parker for 5 years. How long ago? I think we're going to go on a hike here shortly to like Castlewood Canyon or something like that. And Lance is on. What's up? We have Arun, Marcel, all our moderators doing a great job. Appreciate it. And let's see. Yes, J&K. Yes, I saw the email that you sent me, and because I traveled yesterday, I didn't have a chance to email you back, and I just sort of like disconnected. So I'm probably it'll probably be a couple weeks before I get back to you. But yeah, it'll be awesome to chat. Your results are fantastic. It's good to hear from you. And I saw that you're from Idaho. I may be driving through that zone in a few months. But thank you for the information. Andrew is on. Graham, what's up? Good to have you on. Yeah, it's really nice. It's going to be like 60 degrees. I'm in the shade right now, so I'm slightly chilly, but it's great. Fit Egyptian, what's the perfect formula for keyword research? The keyword golden ratio. There's a link for a playlist in the description, so just check that out. And Peter, yes, this office is not bad. And Georgie is being cool right now. There's plenty of space on this lot here, so I've been throwing the ball with the chuck it. She's been going crazy. She did a good job in the car, but it was rough being in the car for that long. All right, Eating Lunch. What's your name? I forgot your name, man. You found a keyword golden ratio keyword. You wrote a post. The next day, it was on page 3. Day after that, you couldn't find it. Ever have that happen? Normal? Yes, totally normal. And in general, I would say you'll probably need to publish like about 20 keyword golden ratio posts, because what I find is maybe about 5% do terrible. They won't even rank. Maybe 15%, right? A handful of them will do terrible. So 3 out of 20, and then maybe the majority of them, say like, I don't know, 13 of them or so are going to be 13, 14 are going to just rank somewhere in the top 50. And then you're going to maybe have a couple that are going to do awesome. And if your site's young, you just published it, it's going to bounce all around. So the best thing to do is publish like 20, and then that usually will take you a few weeks or a couple months, and then things will stabilize. When you publish a new post, it tends to bounce around because Google's testing it. They literally A/B test like what's going or what the searcher appreciates, right? So you just have to be patient. Layla says, hey, Doug, are there any alternatives for AdSense for a website that has 2,500 monthly visitors, or should you not put ads up at this point? I think there are probably a lot of alternatives. I don't do much with like paid ad placement or AdSense or anything like that. So I have no idea. I'm assuming that you don't want to do Amazon affiliate stuff. Maybe there's not a product fit, which is, normal for certain like niches, I guess. But I would take a look at, yeah, I mean, I don't know. My answer is I don't know. You could potentially try and get people to place banners by contacting them directly and then trying to sell them ad space. And cool, Castlewood. And the thing is, I think Castlewood is a place that I've been to before because my wife and I we've spent a couple months in this area. Actually, I've probably been in Colorado for almost a year of my life or so, various times, right? But we were up in Denver for a while, and I think we drove down to Castlewood, but we didn't, like, our friends didn't live here then. They lived in the university area. So anyway, I think I may have been there before, but I'll remember once I pull into the drive. It should be awesome. I think Georgie should really enjoy it. So, and Richard, what's up? 40 viewers. Yeah. Here's the crazy thing. I don't know how many folks were on, but I did a live stream on Wednesday. There were like 80 people for the majority of it. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but something happened. I took note, and I'm going to do some research because it was a live stream. And yeah. All right. We got J&K, and I forgot your name in the email. I'm sorry. I'm bad with email, basically. JP is on. Good to have you. Mark lived in Parker. Okay, I should be able to remember that. And Graham wisely says, you have to be patient with this stuff. The Google dance is real. Give it a few weeks or a few months, but the KGR works. Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, like, the bouncing around and stuff, when you have a new site, you're eager to look at the like the analytics often, and basically it'll drive you crazy because you'll think that you need to make decisions based on this like really incomplete data set. Basically, you're trying to figure out what to do when you only have, like, 2-3 visitors going to your site a day. So yeah, just give it time. Things normally will level out, and it's through, publishing more and more content that it works out. Peter says, when looking at a keyword golden ratio, do I take into consideration the number of non-all-in-title results? No, I don't. Angela says, you started implementing the keyword golden ratio and you're amazed with the results. Oh, thanks. Good to hear that. Angela, if you want to shoot me an email at doug@nichesiteproject.com, I can not reply to you like I have with several other people, but I will get back. I will get back to everyone. I'm very interested in the results. And what I'm going to do basically is I'll probably have people on the channel, and we'll just do like a short interview, what you've done, the results you've seen in the amount of time. And I'm very interested in like putting more of that out because it's coming sort of like full circle, where I kept talking about this keyword golden ratio for a long time and everyone said it didn't work. And then people started doing it after I kept telling them about it. And now there's some services is being offered by my friends at Humanproof Designs. So people are paying money for it. And then there are people that are implementing it and they're getting results, and that's super cool. And Mark says the site's young, a few times a week. Okay. Yeah. Keep at it. JK says, if you wrote a great post about a topic and then you find a similar topic and it has some crossover, would it hurt the initial post to publish another similar one? It might. And this happens a lot with the keyword golden ratio, or the potential for it to happen is out there. It's called keyword cannibalization. There's a video on it. So if you have a look on the channel, if you just search on the channel for keyword cannibalization, you should be able to find the information on that. And basically, again, you have to be patient And I like to I would publish it and then see what Google does, give it like 2 to 4 months, and then you can make a decision on what to do after that. The thing is, like, there's not a huge consequence to do this, especially when you look at the fact that, like, um, you know, you're probably not getting like a massive amount of traffic from any one of these posts. So it's not a huge deal if, you know, one post is ranking and another one is what you intended. Not a big problem overall. And by the way, if you're enjoying this, please give a thumbs up. I see we have like 46 people. We only have 11 likes. And if you're watching the replay, I know a lot of people do watch the replay. Leave a comment, just say, hey, I appreciated the live stream or something like that. Or if you have a question, leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to try and integrate that into future Q&As. But it does help if you hit the like button. Potentially that's why maybe that other video did well. Although a lot of people just hopped on like right away. I think there were like 30 people on Wednesday when I joined up, which is actually pretty unusual. There were only like 15 today, if anyone's keeping notes. Hamdi says, you like the videos and I'm always giving value, and freelancing agency with a small group and outsourcing the work. Cool. Yeah. So I would say, Hamdi, just make sure you have your system tightened up pretty well before you get into it. And then I actually shot a video with my assistant, Mackenzie, the other day. Actually, we did a couple of videos, one for my channel, one for hers. And we talked about how we published all this content in February, which was like, I don't even know how many hours it was, but it was a lot of content. It was like 60 videos. And basically we slowly over time built up. So we like refined one area, went to another area, worked on that, went to another area and worked on that. And I mentioned that it was actually, I'm giving away one of the punchlines in the video, but it was like the Karate Kid. Anyone like the Karate Kid? In the comments in the chat, let me know if you remember that movie. I'm showing my age, which, you know, you should be able to tell that I'm, you know, I have no hair. So I'm already showing my age very visibly. But basically, Mr. Miyagi, if anyone doesn't remember, Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel like all these skills by showing him how to do, you know, paint the fence. He was waxing cars. There were a couple other things. I don't remember them all, but it didn't seem like it was going to be helpful at all. Mine weren't unrelated. Mine weren't that unrelated, but basically we went through and refined each piece of the system, and then we pushed hard on it, and we met like each week or multiple times a week along the way so that we could adjust. So if something like broke under pressure, we figured out what to do with it. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Andrew says you've written a sort of a guide around 5,000 words. Should you keep updating it? Yeah, you should keep updating it. Hi says good morning. What's up? Good to have you on. RK says, after you make a new post, what do you do to get indexed quickly? Well, I usually don't do anything, but if you're really in a hurry, you should go to the Search Console and fetch it as Google and then index it. It takes like a minute. I made a video on it. So if you search on how to get your like post indexed quickly on my channel, you should be able to find it. All right. Thomas says, all right, and I lose my spot, but people do remember the Karate Kid. Yeah, for sure. And you know, the original is really, really solid, but you know, the second one, not bad. I didn't watch the newer ones, I don't think. But yeah, Sweep the Floor, was that another one? Oh yeah, because that's like a lower blocking. Yeah. So I think it's a classic. I haven't watched in a while, but it's one of the videos that we had, one of the movies that we had on video, a VCR. It's like a cassette tape for the people that don't know what that is. We had a VCR, and yeah, we wore the tape out. All right, next. Thomas says, your posts get inconsistent views using 10 kgr words. The day I post, I get like 30 views, but 1 or 2 the next day. Do you think I'm not writing enough content about each keyword? Well, I'm not sure, because maybe I don't know how long it is, so I don't know how much you're writing on each keyword, so I can't comment on that. But I'm going to read into your question. It sounds like you're trying to put multiple KGR terms into one post, and that's wrong. So you can't do that, right? If you look at the formula, Thomas, you'll see that you're looking for all entitled results. And I may misunderstand your question here, but the way you're writing it sounds like you're using your post get inconsistent views using 10 KGR terms. So you need one post, one KGR term. That's how it works. You must target it in the way that you're checking for other people targeting it. What you're doing is just writing a big post, and that can work a little bit. In a lot of, you know what, I think there are other courses that actually teach that stuff. My course, 5-Figure Niche Site, we take a different route, right? We do it we do it my way, right? We do it my way. We're using project management. We're using the KGR, very methodical, very systemized. And the way you're describing it is like a big post. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but it's just different. So if you want to do it that way, keep at it. It can work, right? Other people do great at it. It's just not the way I'm teaching it. Fit Egyptian Rose says, do I do one-on-one? do I do one-on-one coaching? Yes, I do. If you go to nichesiteproject.com/hire-me, you could check that out. If you want me to validate a niche in keywords, I can tell you what I think, but I can't really give you a go ahead and say like, this is going to work. I can give you insight because I've seen, thousands of keywords in many different niches, and I have, I've seen stuff that I like and stuff that I don't like. So I do that, but I won't say like, yes, this is going to work, because I feel like no one can actually say that. So if anyone tells you that, they're just, I don't know, they just can tell the future. You should ask them something different, like lottery numbers. Okay. And the rate is $247 per hour at this time when we're shooting it, this live video right now. Hi says, all entitled. Does searching with just some word equate to the same as all entitled function? No, it doesn't. And I read it out, but there were quotes around a word. Then you're just searching for that word. So it's different. There may be other ways to do it, but I'm not really sure. Angela says, you definitely, and you would love to talk more about the KGR and its results. Oh, thanks, Angela. Appreciate it. Jan K says, you had your first 500 organic page views days yesterday, and the site's about 3.5 months old. You've been using the KGR to pick the keywords. Yeah, I mean, the results that you're having they're great. Kronos says, oh, what's up? I read from IM about Amazon sites that is now the best time to have one before it's too late. What do they mean too late? Hey, you know what? You should check with whoever wrote that, because I don't know what they mean. But really, the best time to start anything is like as soon as possible, because if you wait, then you'll be further behind in the future. You can't ever, go back. So you may as well start. For example, I said since 2014, I wanted to shoot more YouTube videos, and I didn't do it until last year. And I wish I would have started more in 2014, but I was like too nervous to start. I didn't know what to make videos about. But if I would have had like 3 more years of experience, I would have figured out tons of stuff way sooner. And if you go back to my very early videos, you can see how, just how crappy they are. Yeah. So Kronos, I don't know what people mean. I can't comment on what other people mean. Hiking gear, what's up? How much time? Oh, and Ask YouTube says, how much time do you take? How much time will it take to rank a brand new site? It depends. If you're using the keyword golden ratio, it could be pretty fast. We have J&K mentioning 500 page views in a day yesterday, and it's only 3.5 months old. I think those are pretty good results, but we have multiple people telling us that those kind of results are out there. So when you say time to rank a site, I don't really know what you mean. So if you want to be more specific, I can give you a better answer. I have a video where I talk about the timeline to your first $100 and kind of the timeline over the first 6 months and 12 months. So I would suggest you check out that video because I go deeper into the question I think you're trying to ask. Another question, Cedic says, do you think articles related to the product niche from YouTube? Yes. I have no clue what you're asking. And I apologize. It's hard to go through the chat and sort of keep up with it. So I'm just reading them literally, and I'll try and answer the question. So I think you're asking, do you put products, or is it okay to put products if it's related to the niche? Sure, you can. If you want to do it, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Shanna 2, sorry, I think I always mispronounce your name. How many words should we start with one site? Like 20,000 or 25,000? Sure, that works. You can start with however many you want. There's no right or wrong answer. I recommend you launch a site with 10 posts. You could make it as long or as short as you want. Joel says, what else can be used in combination to rank? SEO, Facebook ads. Well, I mean, if you're just looking for all the stuff that's possible, I don't recommend that. Number one, you'll kind of drive yourself crazy. But yeah, you could do, I mean, I would focus on the SEO angle, but you can do social, right? You can go all Instagram, all Pinterest, all Facebook, wherever it's active. You can maybe Reddit, maybe you're big time on Reddit. As far as Facebook ads, to my knowledge, that's not going to help you rank at all. And if you're trying to do an arbitrage situation, you really need to be good at it. So I wouldn't recommend that. So I would say pick one, Joel. Whatever you think you want to do, just pick one and stick with that for a while until it's working. And then you can add on something else. I could tell you, though, I don't know anyone doing Amazon affiliate type sites, these sort of sites, that isn't doing organic SEO. Like everyone is working on ranking in Google. No one that I know of is doing Facebook ads. Literally no one. So they may be out there, but they're not in my circle of friends or anything like that. Maybe it's self-selecting. Cedic says, do I think articles related to the product niche from ClickBank but not buyer intent will convert? Yes, but I don't know if I would spend any time on it, but I'm sure that they could convert. I mean, it could be a really low percentage, and I would imagine it may not be worth the time. Shan Tanu, I think that's closer. What's better to write? Should you go for a golf site which writes all about golf products or golf push carts only? I would go for the broader topic so that you could add more products. All right. And eating lunch, fishing. Okay, you got to get to work. I'll check out the canyon, and let's see. You recommend the lower trail if I haven't been, if it's not too wet. Cool. Thanks, man. Good to have you on. Pete says they're making a Karate Kid TV show. Was what? They're making a Karate Kid TV show with the original actors Daniel and Johnny, but not Mr. Miyagi, of course. Yeah, that's crazy. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out. Man, that's a decent idea. Hiking gear. Now you're missing the days where, okay, nowadays you're missing the webinars. How do I get links for the webinars? So I took a little break from doing the webinars for a few weeks, but I'm kicking them back off actually next week. So next Thursday, I'll be doing a webinar, and I think I figured out an easier way for me to get the information out so that people can attend. Now, these webinars, if you are newer to the channel or to me in general, I do webinars which are hosted on Webinar Jam, so they're not on YouTube. And it gives me a little bit more control. It helps me build my email list. This is why I do it. I can get people's emails, and I want people on my email list. And by the way, if you haven't joined the email list, if you go to nichesiteproject.com, click on the green button, just put in your name and email. I'll send you 15,000 keywords and a bunch of templates and guides, and you'll be notified, hopefully, if I remember to send out the webinar notifications about the webinars. So yeah, they're starting back up next week, and I try and not go crazy. Oh, I see squirrels out here. Georgie's gonna really enjoy that. We don't have many tree squirrels in Bozeman. There's not many trees around, especially in our like neighborhood. There are ground squirrels in Bozeman though. So in the winter, it's too cold. So the ground squirrels, like, they go hibernate like underground to stay warm. This is the wildlife portion of the of the live stream. So yeah, I think Georgie sees some of the squirrels in the trees. But here in Colorado, there's a lot more trees, at least where I'm at right now. And there's fat suburban squirrels around here. Okay. Peter says, the Google dance, you published a KGR article a month ago. It took about a week to appear in position 100. And then a few weeks later, it's now mid-20s. Yeah, so just takes a little time. And, potentially as you're, maybe adding internal links, or maybe do some blog commenting to get a couple just sort of related sites, even if they're no follow, just to get some traffic on the page can be helpful, or add more content to it. Layla says, what conversion rate should I expect? You get 2,500 visits per month, but your Amazon conversion rate is horrible. Last month you earned about $10. Okay. So it's really hard, sorry for the wind, it's really hard to predict a conversion rate. If you're using, oh, you know what, I'll just say, a lot of times the average that I see is reported on Amazon, it's between like 4 and 6.5% or so. Mine typically is around 10 to 13%, something like that, just because it's a lot more targeted. So that brings me to the point is either you're not getting, you're probably not getting the right kind of traffic. 2,500 visitors per day is getting to sort of like the right range. It's a little bit less than 100 per day. So that's good, but you may need to get like a little bit more traffic. Additionally, if you're not getting the right kind of traffic, that could be an issue too. Music Vial says, great content, keep it up. Thanks for saying that, appreciate it. Thomas says, it's a good answer. You were writing 4,000 words per post and incorporating related keywords, so too many keywords and not enough posts. Yeah, and if you're using the KGR, like, you literally have to use the title. That, like, your keyword is the title. So Terry says, you only discovered me about a month ago. Oh, cool, good to have you on. You watched the Keyword Golden Ratio and subscribed. You're a retired COO, and boy, do you miss challenges. You love the trades with income school. Awesome. Good to have you on. And it's interesting. It's interesting overall. What Terry? Hey, what industry were you a COO in? Just curious. In Music File, you know, it could take 3 to 12 months to rank pages for KGRs, but what point should someone be seeing the first signs of traffic? Well, I would say it depends on if you're doing like any sort of promotion. So I do have a course. So for the new folks, I have a course called 5-Figure Niche Site. I only open enrollment 4 times a year. It'll open up again in the middle of April. So keep an eye out for that. I'll talk about it a lot, so you probably won't miss it. But if you're doing like, you know, the proper amount of work and you're publishing some content, you know, 10 pieces of content, and then you're promoting it immediately after that, you should be able to get traffic as soon as you start promoting it. It'll be a trickle of traffic, the first sign of traffic, 4 to 6 weeks. It shouldn't take, I mean, in 6 months, you should probably, give or take, make about $100 your first $100 month. If you time it just right, like if you're starting your site right now, like you could make quite a bit of money over the retail season, right? Just because of the timing, you could hit your first $100 month in, you know, October, November timeframe, and then December could really jump up. So it's very you can get traffic quickly, but you have to work on the promotion of it as well. Joel says it's all review site, right? You know, I'm not really sure. Can you give me more context? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. And Terry says, thanks for the free education. You plan to start a site in a month or 2. Thanks again. You're welcome. Good to have you on, like I said. And let's see if you put the industry. Oh, so you did addiction treatment, 1,600 pages, patients, 160 employees. Wow. Yeah, that's a big, pretty big company to be a COO. Awesome. Well, good to have you on. Layla says the older videos are funny in a good way. It's good to see how much progress I've made. Yep. And you know what? It's the same like for anything, for like creating the niche sites, or, you know, doing the videos or writing. If you read my early posts on niche site project, I didn't know how to do it, right? I didn't know how to write it well. And I think it definitely sounds a lot more like me now. And when you look at the videos, even from just 1 year ago, I was much worse, much worse. And Sharon is just joining up. You just arrived. I'm not in the guest bedroom. Yep, I'm in Colorado. Yeah. So if you're just joining up, I know people hop on at different times. So number one, I'm in Colorado visiting a friend. It looks like it's colder out, but there's a bit of a breeze. It's actually going to be warm. It's going to be pretty warm. We're going hiking later today. I'm going to shut this down at the top of the hour. So if you have your questions, I'm going to have to talk faster and stop rambling on so much. So I was going to mention the fact that I'm not in the guest bedroom. I'm in Colorado, and I'm looking forward to going to some of the bottle shops here. There's a lot of beers that I cannot get back home, so I'm going to probably bring enough beer to potentially break some, you know, state liquor laws, you know, transporting too much. Just kidding, of course. But I do have a lot of room in the car, though. And then the other thing is, if you haven't hit the like button, that would really help me. And if you're watching the replay, just leave a comment like, hey, really enjoyed it. It looks nice there, something like that. All right. Next, what do we got? Anil says, how important is it how important is the website name in SEO? Does it matter? I don't think it matters too much these days. I mean, I think there's some small value in having like a keyword in the URL somewhere, but I don't think it's like a huge, massive thing. So not that important. I don't put too much weight on it. All right. And people are saying that the new Karate Kid is pretty solid. People also like my glasses. Thanks. People are on the email list, which is awesome. What else do we got? What else do we got? Fit Egyptian Rose says, if you have a budget for an SEO campaign, do I recommend to go hard on it to rank faster? Sure. Yeah, there's no problem with that. In fact, in a couple weeks ago, I think I was mentioning, I've seen a few sites like rank super fast, and it was through, having a budget, knowing exactly what to do, and getting like links. And I mean, there's no issue with getting links early on with your site. I wouldn't recommend a scholarship campaign, even if you're offering a real one. People should be offering a real one anyway. But with the issues that came out in recent months, in December, there was a bunch of sites that were penalized, so I would stay away from it. All right. And our press release is helpful. I don't think so. Some people say they are, but I don't think they are. Marcel says, am I able? Hold on, Georgie. It's okay. Hold on. Everything's cool. All right. Georgie got a little spooked for a second there. Sorry about that. Am I able to expand on how I get over 10%? You mentioned highly targeted and is partially due. Okay. So basically, I could expand on it, and maybe I could talk about it more in like more videos and stuff. But I mean, I think it's mainly having the right visitors. There are so many things that I don't do that many people say are so important. So I don't use buttons. Tables are good, but I only use tables on like a very small percentage of my post, because there was sort of a training issue with like training my editor to add tables. So I was like, you know what, let's just skip the tables. All the calls to action are text calls to action, and there's only like 4 per post for a lot of posts. So overall, I'm not too aggressive. I think, a lot of the questions that I get are, how many affiliate links can I put on to one post, indicating that someone is trying to put as many affiliate links as they can. And that's not really, the point. I mean, and I know, Marcel, by the way, I know you're not trying to add too many links, but you have the right kind of visitor that's interested in the product, and you're not trying to aggressively push it. I'm just, putting the information out there. And then, as far as the calls to action, like I get a lot of questions like, what's the best call to action? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I mean, I think one of the best things you could do is introduce curiosity, so someone wants to go learn more, right? You want them to go check it out. And once you get someone on Amazon converts pretty well, And many people are just saying, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. And Shantanu says, you make all the money, right? What do you do with all the free time? Well, you know what? I don't know. I'm a busybody, maybe a little bit like Terry, right? So he's like looking for a new challenge. I'm doing a lot of work all the time. So with my additional free time, I like to do stuff outside. I usually end up I'd probably go to the gym, or do some sort of cardio or something like that for, I don't know, probably 4 to 7 times a week for 2 hours each time I go. So I'm pretty active, and when the summertime comes around, I'll be spending a lot more time outside. So I do active stuff. And then I try and read a lot, although honestly in February I didn't read nearly as much because I was publishing so many videos. So I try and read. And Joel says the competition is low competition keywords. Yes, in general. And Joel, I'm trying to read between the lines in your question, so I apologize if I'm not answering exactly what you're asking. But yeah, low competition keywords usually are a good way to start, and then you can do higher competition later. Max says, for every KGR term, should I add over 5 products on every article? Sorry, I don't think I get it. No, you could put however many products you want. So you could put 1 or 50. So I don't know if that helps, but I'm not sure which portion you don't get. If you need help on like what to put in the post, there is a video. If you search for this, Max, if you search for Max, you could find a video, and it's like the perfect Amazon review. It's like it's one of those webinars. So you could watch the whole thing and it'll tell you how to shape the article. You can put 1 product in there or 5 or whatever you want. Peter says, if you have a good KGR, like best pen for writing on paper, would I add when wet if the local monthly search volume drops significantly? Will Google use the first part for shorter? Okay. You know what? I haven't tested that specifically, but what I've seen is yes, I would add the like more specific search term, and it'll serve a very specific set of visitors, and then potentially you could rank for the broader search later. But as far as the second part of your question, Peter, does Google use the first part for shorter searches? Not necessarily. I don't know that for a fact, but your approach is solid. All right. Music File says, imagine you have pillar content that's 6,000 or 7,000 words. And let's see. Okay, so the example is how to get rid of XXX has 49,000 monthly searches, but getting rid of XXX has 4,000 monthly searches. Which one would I target? So for that, and by the way, if I answered any of your questions or you found anything helpful, please hit the thumbs up. It helps other people find the video. So I would appreciate it. And I know a lot of people said thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's nice. Here's the deal. What I would do, Music File, I would Google both of those terms and see if the results are the same, because it may turn out that even though the lower search volume would seemingly be less competitive because less people are searching for it, so maybe there's less money in it. My gut says that Google probably treats those the same. So even if you're searching for both, if you look at the top 10 and like 80% of them are the same results, then like it's probably not going to matter. It's probably very competitive either way. D-Card's on, what's up? Okay, and Shan, all right, that's easier. And we have Bastion, what's up? Good to have you on. And Marcel mentioned you got 12.5 on the conversion rate in December, but it dropped, so you're trying to figure out how to increase it for the rest of the year. And I think like I can't remember exactly I think my conversion rate was like, it was like 16% in December. I mean, it goes up in December quite a bit because people are buying just a lot more products and stuff. And Q Dog says, I look cold. Yeah, it's like it's warm in the sun, but I'm in the shade, and then the wind will kick up every now and then. So yeah, I am slowly getting colder. Joel says, do I use YouTube to rank my niche site, or do I put affiliate links? I don't do that, but I think it's a solid approach. I think it would work fine, and you could put your affiliate links in the description. I think if you put, or you know what, I heard that the income school guys do YouTube videos for their niche sites, which in my opinion is a form of link building. So I'll mention that. But yeah, I think that would be fine to do, Joel. Jeff's on what's up, saying I looks like, is it just the glasses? Because sometimes in my house where I have the big window and it's so bright in there, I want to put on sunglasses. So if it works, I'll stick with it. Plus, you know what? You can't tell that I'm not looking at the camera either, I don't think. So maybe I got to stick with these glasses. All right. What's a good bounce rate? Any tips for improving the bounce rate? All right. So the bounce rate, a good one, I would say, is probably like under 75%. But other people will tell you way different things. For most of the sites that I work on, it's like 86, 90%. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Anything to improve it? I mean, you could try and get people to click to your other articles, right, to stay on your site longer. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much, Jeff. Bill says, Neil Patel recommends Ahrefs instead of SEMrush. Could I do a breakdown of the features and which is better? Yeah. So, and I'll just mention, I think Ahrefs is probably a better overall tool. I think at this point they've caught up to SEMrush and like surpassed SEMrush as far as like the keyword information that they could provide, and then their backlink database is awesome. So, I mean, Ahrefs is really good. They're both fairly expensive, and the other part is there's so many features in Ahrefs that it'll be difficult to do like a big overview. But yeah, I mean, if you have the budget, Ahrefs is probably more thorough. QDog says, when you look at competitors' backlink profiles, you only see a few referring domains, like under 10 to 20 do follow links. It seems like it doesn't take that many links to ranks. Do I find that to be true? Yeah. If they're good links, yeah, it maybe doesn't take too many to rank. And the Project Go White Hat site, by the way, this is the site that my friend and I, Rob, sold for $235,000, and that was in 2017. And funny thing, I'm just going to digress, and it's not really a complaint, just an observation. So I got an email from someone, actually multiple emails. I guess they like the channel. It sounds like they watch a lot of the videos, but they were upset with me because I keep saying that Rob and I sold the site for $235,000, which is why I've already mentioned it twice here, just to sort of poke at them a bit, because it seems like they watch a lot of the videos. But here's the interesting thing with YouTube: we don't know. Like at any point in time, any video could be the first video that anyone is watching. Now, I know I have, there's a lot of people that watch multiple videos, and that's great. And some of the stuff ends up being like I hope it's not too repetitive and stuff. But I mean, the worst case scenario, I mean, I should be so lucky that you're hearing me tell a similar story again and again. And what I realized, QDog, and I'll get to the answer to your question in a second. What I realized, QDog, is I heard Ramit Sethi. I've taken a couple of his courses. I think he's great, right? He comes off abrasive for some people, but I think he's awesome. And one thing that Ramit mentioned, he was like, oh, I can't remember who he got it from, but now the point is he tells the same stories over and over again. He has a handful of very good stories that make the points that he wants to make. So I listened to him on podcasts and interviews over the span of multiple years with many different guests. There's the same story over and over again. And he does it because he knows that it works. Now, I'm not saying I know my stories work that well, but I'm continually refining them. And I know Ramit went through a long process to like tell the right story and refine it and deliver it in the right way. The reason why I mentioned the Project Go White Hat is that site only had like 40 some odd links, and we were getting like crazy amount of traffic. It was making 5 figures a month. It made 30K in like 32K in December of 2016. It didn't have that many links. The post that was making the most money, the majority of it, like 90%, it only had 7 links going to it. So when you look at that, it was more about like the full set of SEO, on page and off page SEO, how everything was put together, the content on the site, the types of links, the anchor text, all that stuff, all the little details. So in general, yeah, a lot of times it won't take as many links as people may think. It just takes like good links and patience. Let's Chat says, when using the keyword golden ratio, do you need to keep using the term in the article multiple times? No, you don't. It would be weird if you did. And Let's Chat says, how do you like your video on a phone? Thanks for all the help. What do you mean exactly? And any other last minute questions here? Coming up to the top of the hour, and I think we're going to be heading out here shortly. My friend's on a conference call right now. He's supposed to finish at 11, so I was going to finish at 11 too. I think we're going to fetch with Georgie, and I think I can here, I'll show. Hey, Georgie. Hey, Georgie. Yeah, are you stretching out? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Okay. Do you want me to pay attention to you now? Do you want me to throw the ball with you? All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? 1 or 2 more. All right, Marcel's out of here. Thanks again, moderators. We've had good luck with the lack of trolls lately. And Sahil says, under $50 product with KGR is good, or should we keep the search for over 100? That's totally up to you. You know what? For me, I go for anything. I don't care how much it costs. Here's why. Yeah, I'll have articles written where the product's like $1 or something, right? Anyone think that's crazy? And anyone in the chat, you can let me know, or even in the comments, right? If someone's actually watching a full hour, like if you think it's nuts, let me know, and then I'll tell you why. It's good if Google's sending you some traffic and people are liking the content. So if I can get people to, if I can get Google to like my site and send traffic there, that's great. Informational articles, you may have these other Georgie, the informational articles, or for products that are just cheap. So I wouldn't limit it to $50 or $100. So, and people do enjoy, we have Charles and Chuck and Thomas, like the outside video. Everyone have a good weekend. Really appreciate it. And I was trying to see, Let's Chat to see the video on the phone. Yeah, again, I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but I'm actually on my laptop right now, just so I can see the chat a little bit better. All right, Well, thanks everyone. We'll catch you next week. And there will be webinars kicking off next week. By the way, I started doing a few videos on keyword research tools. So I'll probably publish a couple of those next week. Hopefully more than one. I have to do the other, some of the other admin stuff before I publish them. They're on the basic side, so I am curious, and I should probably prompt you for questions and say like, hey, what do you want to know about the tools? So I'll put it in the comments, but I'm really interested to publish more on keyword research tools. All right, everyone have a good weekend. And Sahil asks, when on next week? Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday and Friday, 10 a.m. Same time. 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which is the same time as today, by the way. All right, cool. Everyone have a good weekend. We'll see you later.